Welcome back, and in today's video we're going to be talking about what you should be expecting in the next Persona 5 The Phantom X update. So, of course, this game's been out for a decent amount of time now. We're talking the global version here. It's been pretty free-to-play friendly, pretty exciting. We still have the Joker banner up for 16 days. Joker, by far, has been my best unit in this account. I don't have his weapon. He's just such a good unit. But the part that this game needs the most is more events. At the moment, we only seem to have the Trials of the Souls. Yeah, it's... Even Nightmare Gateway, it's not that great. I can't lie. So you need like a full guild of people, and then even the Trials, it really heavily hinges on you having the perfect units, like gear-wise. Only 3 days left. I've grinded this game, I'd say, since day one of release. Pretty fairly often, to back the fact that I've reached about 2%. I was on 1% for a while, but I think overnight I've been overtaken. I've had a lot of struggle with the second side. First side, this team's great. There's one substitution for the 5 stars from the standard banner that you can have for debuffs for Ren's passives. But ultimately, the full Dark team, it's so good. But the main issues that I keep having is with second half, just because we need more gear. Now, you'd think that the next character would, focus more. I'd say we need like an ice or a wind 5-star in this game, most importantly. But no, the next character we're getting is a lightning, I'm fairly certain. And despite having, one lightning character in this game, yeah, other than Motoha, we've got fair duplicates of everybody else. But the next character is just so underwhelming. Anyways, so to get onto the new events. Currently, the only events we still have is, the character trial, been and gone. The event for the daily rewards, I did love this. We really need to get one of these once a month. If I know Star Rail does something like this, where I think it's a 10 pull, but I really appreciate the standard. Honestly, this is one of the only gacha games where I've ever appreciated the standard banner as much as I do out of all of these games, just because the standard units are so viable. So here I have the translated planner for the next version 1.1 update, and it would seem that we're only going to be getting the main story chapter, but soon after we're going to be getting a new event. So this event is going to be known as the Heart Rail. Let me show you right here. So the Heart Rail is a roguelike sort of event, kind of like Divergent Universe if you played Honkai Star Rail before. So you gather your items, make your team stronger, and then you can just speed through the stages. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a permanent event. Most of the translations don't matter here, but it's just going to be a simple event for you to grind easy. I know the rewards are pretty good though. So we have some more info on just how the event works. So, if you're not familiar with Divergent Universe, ultimately just think of this as a roguelike. You get to choose different items that can buff your team, and then ultimately you combine certain items to match a certain playstyle. Let's say you're going for max HP as in damage, you're going for normal damage, crit. All of these items stack together to get to the final boss to help you kill the final boss. Here is an example of 3 of the items that you can find on the train, just that I found on Twitter. Everything will be linked in the description below for all my sources, but I did manage to translate these 3 items here. Here we go. So this event is public and has been public on the JP version and the CN version for most of its entire life, seeing as it came out in 1.2. But it's good to know just how this event works in case you're not familiar with these certain events. Just remember, most of these items in these events, as long as they're not negative, don't really impact how your run's going to go. That does sound crazy, but it's not like we're going to have the most difficult stages of this event by far. In terms of games like Honkai Star Rail, the reason Divergent Universe is so difficult now is because you have difficulty tiers, and then there's newer type bosses which need certain elements to be defeated, like DOT, things like that. This game, I'd argue you can just brute force through everything, and a person who would look at this, they'd know the best thing to choose just by glancing. I mean, so here we have Revive One Companion, who I'm guessing was downed. That's pretty good if you don't have Morgana. 20% max HP for Phantom Thieves. See like survivability, HP damage for HP scaling characters, and then coins will be increased by 100% for the last 5 platforms. I'm guessing this is a money type system. Most games like this will have a money system where nearing the end of a stage or coming towards a boss, you can spend currency to buy curios or enhancements that you otherwise wouldn't have found from beating bosses. In that way, if you don't get so lucky, you still have a chance of winning the stage. So there is still more that we have to look at here. So here is an example of just how one level of the event's going to look. So you have the shadow here, you just jumped off the train, I'm guessing 2, so this is floor 2. That would be a really cool feature if, depending on what floor you're on, it does say the train station up there, but it would be very different to how most roguelikes go if there's not extras around this guy. Could you break these barrels for like items, for example? I do pretty much guarantee if you beat this guy, you're going to be able to choose a curio or, you know, a buff out of 3 choices, and then you go to the next floor. And if you do go to the next floor through the escalators, I wonder how the train's going to stay involved throughout this quest. It's really interesting. This reminds me of how you get to choose what you want your next stage to be. So if this is how the rail works going from floor to floor, this is the beginning, and then you can decide whether you want to fight an enemy or not. Well, of course, it would seem like you've got no choice here. But then you can branch off to different stages. So say, for example, this is a gift, which would guarantee me an item. This top layer would sort of be like a quest or like a mini game that doesn't involve fighting people. If going back to Star Rail again, if you understand how the Divergent universe works, it should be as simple as that. This would be a reward stage, and then you keep on choosing until you get to the final boss, and then hopefully everything you've accumulated will help you beat the final boss right at the end there. And in true roguelike fashion, you won't be able to change your team, I'd imagine. I wouldn't think that this would be a 2-team event. That seems a bit too extreme for 1.1. Especially if some people are out there saving their summons. I doubt people even have enough for 2 teams if you haven't done at least a few pulls. So it's 1 team at the start, you lock it in, and then you carry on all the way to the end to see if you can beat the final stage. Okay, now to move on to what the next upcoming 5-star character looks like. Here we have a 1.0 release date, so it would seem that the character should be coming out the 9th of July. This is really interesting because Joker doesn't finish until the 24th. Joker still has quite a long time left. Here, let's do a double check. So Joker does in fact have 16 days. That does add up. That does add up here. Okay, I'm presuming this begins on the 25th and then ends on the 9th of July. That would make a lot more sense. Because having the banner become double limited at the same time, no. Either way, we have a very long time for you to save up your points. And even when she does come out, obviously you don't have to trust tier lists too much, but seeing a lot from this character, I'm not too impressed. I'm gonna have to see what happens down the line. Maybe even get an A1 for Joker while you're at it. We still have a long time. And by the time the event comes out, you're gonna have so many summons if you've not already done both of the palaces. You know, get A1 Joker. I wouldn't recommend getting any weapons. Weapons are decent, but with the 4-star selectors, it just seems like a waste. So one final and probably one of the most important pieces of information to note. Early on in the Phantom Pass, if you get the 4-star weapon selector, you can save up the weapons for the next 1.1, 1.2 and 1.3 limited characters. Now this is interesting because it's something that I've never heard of a gacha game ever do. Usually when a game has a monthly pass like this, you have to select the weapon almost instantly before the pass ends. But with this one, I've got my selector and I can actually save it for whenever I want to use it. This also goes for any character selector, so if you got the 3, 5 and 4-star character selectors during your early play, you can actually save your Arn, Morgana and Ryuji selector. I haven't used mine yet and I'm already level 50 and quite far into the end game. Anyway, that's all for now. For more information, I will be covering the next few updates and any info that comes out about Global. Hopefully we do get some more free rewards and maybe even the guaranteed banners that CN has. We'll talk about that another day. But For now, that's everything, and for more videos like this, please subscribe. See you soon.